You're watching WNDU-TV, Channel 16, South Bend.
This is Michiana's First News.
This Warsaw man became the second golfer to make a federal case out of the right to ride. A judge ruled the handicapped golfer can use a golf cart to compete in a qualifying round for the U.S. Open. Today, Ford Olinger took to the courses.
And we did miss the record today, but only by a degree. 90 degrees, our official high today in South Bend. And as we take a look at tomorrow, it looks like sunshine, but a 30 to 40% chance of a thunder shower. Some of these could be strong, but they will be hit and miss. Otherwise, it looks like a nice night tonight, and we'll have more details in our forecast coming up.
Well, you know, predicting the weather is not an easy task.
So to become better informed all this week, Mike Hoffman and a new Center 16 crew will follow the Valparaiso Storm Chase team around the country searching for storms to learn how they form. So far, they've traveled 353 miles on their trip, leaving South Bend this morning. Right now, they're near Iowa City, Iowa, chasing storms. And Mike Hoffman joins us now live via satellite with details. Mike?
You betcha. You know, we didn't get quite as far as we would have liked today, but we are on the road and we're heading west and eventually probably northward during the evening hours tonight. So far, we have blue sky all across the area. It's very windy, it's 90 degrees, and it's humid, but no thunderstorms have popped quite yet. But there is still that possibility. Now, it all began early this morning.
Is if you picture a corridor running from north central Iowa up to Minnesota, there's a very thin line just ahead of the front.
Bart Wolf is the professor leading the team on the storm chase, and by 7 a.m. we were already looking at what might happen later in the day. It was an explosive situation, but we weren't sure thunderstorms were going to pop today. The goal then was to get on the road. Unfortunately, we had problems with the remote lightning detector. Now, some of the students rigged this up in a car, and it can detect lightning within 300 miles of the vehicle, and they had problems with the computer in the trunk. They're trying to fix that, and several of the students went in action really trying to fix the whole thing. They tried to fix the monitor and the keyboard, so that took a little bit of time, and we finally left at about 9:30 a.m. this morning. So at the present time, we are along I-80 in Iowa City, which is where the University of Iowa is located, and we're going to be heading probably 2 to 3 hours from here before we stop for the night, hoping to intercept some of the storms that may still pop northwest of here. So that's something that we are going to be watching throughout the evening hours, and we'll bring more on that tonight at 6 o'clock.
All right.
All right, Mike. Happy hunting, as they say.
All right, we'll try.
All right.
Through Middle America in search of powerful storms. News Center 16 is next. Of deadly storms. The students are storm chasers on the hunt for severe weather. Chief Meteorologist Mike Hoffman and a new Center 16 crew are in the heartland of America as they search for storms, and he joins us from Iowa City. Mike?
Yeah, you bet. You know, the tornado is one of the worst things that can happen in the state of Indiana, but Indiana wasn't under the gun today. Iowa and Minnesota were, so that's why we took off west. It's the Valparaiso Storm Intercept Team, a group of 15 students and one professor. They actually get credit for this, so it is a class, and they're on a 10-day trip through the plains. But before we even hit the road, we had some problems with the lightning detector, and they checked the computer in the trunk. That's where the computer was located. They also had to check the monitor and the keyboard to see what was exactly going wrong. The lightning detector that the students rigged up can see lightning from 300 miles away. But these problems did put us more than an hour behind. But finally, we were ready.
Is go west on 80 until we get to, I believe it's Iowa City, head northwest to Waterloo, and then west and northwest toward Mason City. I'm not expecting a whole lot today, but if it goes, it's going to go severe almost immediately.
Then it was on the road, and we took off across northwest Indiana, traveled all the way across Illinois. Now, we did have some CB problems on the road as well. We need a CB in each one of the cars. And finally, we did make it into Iowa. We stopped at a rest area just to check the radar and the current conditions. Nothing had formed yet, but it was something that we were going to be watching. And that is where we are right now. We are with blue skies at the moment, but the storms may be firing up at any moment off to our north and west. Guys?
Mike, in spite of the problems, are the students really excited about this chase?
Oh, you bet they're excited about it. Some of them are going out on their first time to try and find something that is very dangerous, but it's also very exciting to see in person. So they are excited about it, kind of disappointed with the problems they've had so far, though.
Okay, good luck. Thank you.
All right.
Watching WNDU-TV, Channel 16, South Bend.
This is Michiana's First News.
Our 16 time-lapse shows the clouds moving into the Michiana area, clouds that could bring stormy weather to Michiana. Good evening, I'm Maureen McFadden.
And I'm Terry McFadden. Dick Addis is in Weather Center 16 monitoring the potential storms that are just about to hit our area.
Yeah, and he's joining us now live from Weather Center 16 with the latest. Richard?
Maureen, this has been a rather wicked day. I'm going to show you some high-resolution satellite imagery and these monster storms that are blowing up over southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois. Some of that activity is beginning to show up on Doppler 16 radar. Those very bright echoes indicate some very strong storms. A tornado warning is up for Newton County in northwest Indiana. And, of course, we are certainly under the gun today. Here was our severe risk for Tuesday, slight over much of the Middle West. And we do have the severe weather, the severe thunderstorm watch valid until 7 o'clock for all the counties in green there. So we're going to say 60 for a low tonight. Storms, some of which may be quite strong. And a beautiful day tomorrow, 82 for a high and plenty of sunshine. More details in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Dick. Well, it's day 2 of Mike Hoffman's Storm Chaser series.
Yesterday, Mike was near Iowa City, Iowa, and since we last saw him on this show, he and the Valparaiso Storm Chase team have now traveled a total of 803 miles to Des Moines, where it could prove to be a stormy week. Mike?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we're not only expecting storms tonight like Indiana is, we're expecting them the rest of the week into Nebraska, which is where we will probably be. So things have really been crazy today just in the past couple of hours. We're along I-80 West, rest stop here west of Des Moines. Just a little while ago, about 20 minutes ago, a tornado crossed I-80 east of Des Moines. So it is very close to us. This is what happened here at the rest stop just 45 minutes ago.
Okay, give me 30 seconds. We're going to rotate it right now.
The lightning detector was going crazy, and at one time almost showing 200 volts per minute. Storms have developed quickly in the past 2 hours. In fact, the Storm Chase team took off toward developing storms in Nebraska, and while we were getting ready for our story for you, thunderstorms exploded here around Des Moines, and local television here in Des Moines even passed along 2 tornado warnings just east and northeast of here. This is the thunderstorm behind me that we are seeing right now that is causing the tornado well off to the east of Des Moines, and we're getting a strong breeze from it, and behind it then, from this outflow, we are seeing developing thunderstorms off to our southwest and to our northwest, and these may develop as the evening goes on, so we may actually be in a precarious position as well. So the Valparaiso Storm Chase team is heading along in toward Nebraska, and we may end up seeing some severe weather here ourselves. We'll have more coming up at 6 o'clock and tell you a little bit more about how the kids forecasted this one correctly today. They knew where the severe weather was going to hit. Guys?
Okay. Thanks a lot, Mike.
You're watching WNDU-TV, Channel 16, South Bend.
Live from the WNDU studios, this is News Center 16.
Fast and furious, a spring storm tears through southern Michiana, bringing with it reports of funnel clouds, hail, high winds, rain, and an ominous-looking sky. Good evening, I'm Maureen McFadden.
And I'm Mark Kelly. The worst of tonight's storm moved through around 6 p.m. Indiana time.
News Center 16's Dick Addis has been tracking the storm all night, and he joins us now live from Weather Center 16. Dick, what's the latest?
Maureen, the latest is good news, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But you know what happened? Earlier today, the satellite that feeds this information crashed at about 5:15. That's what the storms looked like at that hour. But the good news is the watch is canceled. And, of course, for the kids getting the bus in the morning, sunny and 65 coming home, 82 and warm, a nice day. In fact, tonight, 60 for a low, 82 for a high. So I guess that's good news. More details in a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Dick. As soon as tonight's storm hit, we had Storm Team 16 crews out on the road surveying the damage.
And Quinette Jameson joins us now live from northern Marshall County. Q, what's it like out there right now?
Mark, we are live at US 31 and State Road 6, where just a few hours ago there were a lot of very nervous people here. Warning sirens were going off. And down the road in Stark County, there were several storms. However, those storms never made it quite this far into Marshall County. But as the sky began to darken along US 31 South, people feared a heavy storm and tornadoes were headed their way. At LaVille High School, a funnel cloud was spotted, and people waited in the wind to see it touch down, but it never did. There were 2 reports of a tornado touchdown in Stark County, though. The storm knocked down several trees along Toto Road between County Roads 250 and 750, and for the most part, that was the extent of the damage. Within minutes, the storm was over. The skies cleared just as the sun began to set. Now, News Center 16 did speak with Stark County Police, and they say about those 2 reports of 2 tornadoes, those were not confirmed reports. In fact, they say they do not believe that there were any tornadoes in that area. Maybe funnel clouds, but no tornado touchdowns. Mark and Mo?
All right, so it got close, but we got away with it this time.
Very lucky.
All right, thanks, Q. Well, Michiana saw a streak of nasty weather this evening. Other areas of the Midwest were hit even harder by Mother Nature.
Mike Hoffman and the Valparaiso University team of storm chasers caught up with a storm in central Iowa today. At 6, Mike and the crew reported from Des Moines with a thunderstorm raging behind them. Tonight, Mike has journeyed on to Council Bluffs, Iowa, on the border of Nebraska. Mike, how's it going?
Well, it's not going too bad. We did get out of that storm in Des Moines, and we headed west to just west of Council Bluffs. There's a big baseball game going on behind me here, so a lot of action out this way. The kids are having fun from Valparaiso. The thing was, they decided that the severe weather would probably occur today from Nebraska across Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana, and boy, were they right.
Oh, my God. Jack, it's a tornado! Charlie!
Y'all ready for this?
Storm chasing isn't always like what you see in the movies. There are down times where you're really just waiting for things to happen.
No pressure or anything.
Got a little sun today in our off time, so trying to make the best of it, trying to do what I can.
And then you're off. This morning we left Albert Lea, Minnesota with sunny skies, but suddenly it got a little darker. We drove south on I-35 through Iowa and were hit by heavy rain. At a rest stop on I-80 near Des Moines, we stopped to check out the latest radar reports, and the storm was here. We had marble-sized hail, rain, gusty winds during that, and of course it all happened during our 6 p.m. live shot. Now the interesting thing is the last couple of days, because of how much travel we had to make, the students end up going on ahead of us, and we end up telling you the story at 5 and 6. That's where we hit the storms. They went into Nebraska where a tornado watch was in effect at that time. So we will catch up with them tonight and see what happens tomorrow.
Where are you heading tomorrow then, Mike?
Well, I think right now we're thinking about western Nebraska, maybe even eastern Wyoming. It's going to be a classic situation of tornado thunderstorms, potentially anyway, and a very good chance of it. So we are hoping to have everybody together at that point. We won't have to travel that far tomorrow to get there.
Okay, good enough. Bye,
All
Mike.
right.
Mike's following a class of storm chasers from Valparaiso University. As this map shows, they're in Bridgeport, Nebraska right now, and that's where Mike Hoffman joins us live. Mike?
And this is a stormy day. It was bright blue sky most of the day. We've encountered 2 hailstorms already, but this is our first daytime storm to track. Today we were heading into prime storm chasing country, the flat, treeless western plains. As usual, the preliminary plans were decided in the morning briefing with Professor Wolf.
One, punch it to get back. Here, you start getting in the hills, the Black Hills. So you gotta stay south of there now. That's west of us.
And it looked like big storms would explode over western Nebraska, so we started driving that way.
Winds throughout the atmosphere may become conducive for thunderstorms capable of producing isolated tornadoes as well.
Then it was time to take measurements and just wait for something to happen. So for the second day in a row, we have encountered another severe thunderstorm, and the students were exactly right. This one is an awesome storm, as you can see here, live, spanning the sky off to the west. There are big thunderheads, and as a matter of fact, just 2 minutes ago, the group took off north from here, chasing the severe thunderstorm warning right over here. As a matter of fact, the sky is very black in that direction. So we're going to be taking off. The lightning's getting a little close, so we probably should be getting inside as well, and we'll bring you the complete story tonight at 10.
All right, thanks, Mike. And today was another great day in Michiana.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Cooled down a little bit. Dick?
You know, Mike really picked out a great spot to be to chase bad storms today. Not around here, though, we hope. This activity won't move in until perhaps the holiday weekend. So we're saying 52 and the clouds clearing tonight. A lot of sunshine tomorrow, less humid, high of about 72. Looks good for a while. More details in just a few minutes.
Mike Hoffman is out on the road learning more about some of nature's worst storms.
Mike is traveling with the Valparaiso University Storm Chasers. Tonight, the storm chasing crew is right in the thick of some very severe weather near Bridgeport, Nebraska. Mike, it sounds like things got a little hairy there tonight.
Oh, my, they really did. It was an awesome storm chasing evening for all of us here at News Center 16 and for the Valparaiso kids. You can see one of the storms behind me. It's just pretty much continuous lightning, but that one's moving away. There are still severe thunderstorm warnings in that area, and it all began after we left you at 6 o'clock.
National Weather Service in Cheyenne has issued a severe thunderstorm warning.
Right now, the National Weather Service just issued a tornado watch for our area, which is the western panhandle of Nebraska, and that is the area we are in right now. We're going to see what develops. I really believe that somewhere here we're Bridgeport going to have some big storms tonight.
And big they were. The Valparaiso students and our team chased the strong storms all around Bridgeport. There's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for this storm right behind us. We've seen a wall cloud and also a lowering of the base, and many times this one can produce a tornado. And law enforcement reported 2 tornadoes did come out of this storm near Bridgeport, the exact area we were watching. We saw the rotation at times, but no actual tornado. But this can cause damage as well. That's a powerful downburst, slamming into the ground and throwing dust out ahead of it. As the sun was setting, the storm ended with a beautiful anvil, the back edge of a thunderhead. Boy, oh boy, what an exciting evening it really was watching these things. Luckily, no damage reported, nobody injured or hurt, and that's always the good news. Tomorrow, believe it or not, the prospects for tornadoes in this same area even higher than they were today. So we'll probably be in this same general area again tomorrow. Live from Bridgeport, Nebraska, I'm Mike Hoffman, News Center 16.
Tonight at 6, our Mike Hoffman showed us some amazing video from Colorado.
Mike and the crew are continuing their storm chase, and things are really starting to heat up. Tonight, Mike has traveled altogether nearly 2,000 miles, and he joins us from North Platte, Nebraska. Mike, how's the chasing?
Oh, my. We have had so many storms today, you didn't even have to go very far to find the next one. They've had storms all over the place. It was definitely a day filled with storms for us, and as a matter of fact, it started early this morning before we even left the motel.
Just knocked on all the doors. We're under a tornado warning. Everybody downstairs.
Hail fell lightly at first and then began slamming into anything in its path. As the hail increased in size, the winds died down, creating the perfect conditions for a tornado.
Watch that flag. That flag is our...
The town we were staying in was now under a tornado warning. Our problem was the hail and rain kept us from seeing the twister. Trucks ran for cover, blocking lanes of traffic, causing others to be caught in the treacherous hail. A family from Vermont was on their way west on I-80 when hail pounded their truck and trailer, shattering the truck's roof.
And the hail started hitting so hard. I mean, it sounded like somebody was hitting us with a gun. I mean, it's like boom, 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 you know, just like it was hitting so hard.
They were able to hit the road thanks to the help of the Valparaiso students. After that storm passed, it was time for the class to head to the prime thunderstorm breeding grounds of the day.
There's a warning. 23 miles due north of Sterling right now. There's a severe thunderstorm.
There were storms to watch and winds blowing in every direction. We even saw the gust front picking up dirt and dust. This storm had a tornado on the other side of it. The day ended with a great lightning display along the interstate. And actually, I'm not sure the day has ended. We just found out there is a tornado warning for the county that we are in right now. So we're going to tear the live truck down and take cover and see you tomorrow morning. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning on the morning show. So reporting live from North Platte, Nebraska, I'm Mike Hoffman.
Hoffman and a group of students from Valparaiso University have been searching for severe storms. Today, their trip takes them to Russell, Kansas, and that's where we join them live. Mike?
Well, Mark was showing you all the traffic earlier on the toll road there in Indiana. We've had about a car an hour here on this dirt road in Kansas. We're surrounded by wheat fields, and in fact, in the background is Russell, Kansas. And it looks like from our weather information, despite the clear skies, we're expecting a quick change in the weather to powerful storms, but you never know with Mother Nature. We were watching thunderstorms all around us last night. At about 7 o'clock, we watched a damaging storm on the horizon. What you're seeing is called a downburst of wind. It slams into the ground and spreads out at high speeds. You can see the dirt and dust being picked up along the way. And in fact, those pillars to the left may be what we call gustnadoes, or mini tornadoes along the gust front. Yesterday we were surrounded by thunderstorms, but today we had to take a different approach. Now we're just waiting it out.
It usually just kind of comes out of the blue like this. So usually it's 1 minute it's a nice sunshiny day, and 15 minutes later you got a rotating supercells. I'm thinking something's going to happen. I don't know about tornadoes, but something.
And you can see our satellite truck looks a little silly here on this dirt road, but this is where we're waiting, and this is part of the crew from Valparaiso checking all the weather information to see if anything does happen. This is one of those cases where it's all or nothing. We have what's called a cap in the atmosphere, and it may hold it all down tonight, but if it breaks through the cap, then they become quickly severe, and tornadoes could come very quickly after that. So we'll wait it out and see what happens and show you coming up tonight at 10 o'clock.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
See you then. Thanks, Mike. Here are taking McDonald's by storm. Parts of the U.S. are being hammered by storms. And News Center 16's Mike Hoffman is right there, chasing the storms with a group of professors and students from Valparaiso University. Tonight, Mike and the crew have made their way to Wilson, Kansas, where things are calm for the moment. How's it look, Mike?
Yeah, they are calm today. We did come into central Kansas looking for thunderstorms and possible tornadoes to develop. Well, they're about 100 miles to the northwest. They may still come in here tonight, but to stay safe, the group does not chase at night, and I think that's a very good idea. This obviously is a group of Valparaiso University students. They spend 6 months in the classroom, then they take it all out into the field. We've only been chasing for 5 days, and already we've been through a massive hailstorm, a damaging downburst with a probable mini tornado in front of it, a gust front throwing up dust, and incredible displays of lightning. And all of this began with one class.
It's difficult in the classroom setting to sort of explain, what's going on. You can see all kinds of pictures and photographs. When we're on the field, that you get a lot better feel for how things work.
Just seeing the sky in the plains area is completely different than even northern Indiana.
I suppose like everybody else, I'd like to see a tornado.
Just when you see a tornado and you've actually done the work to go find it, you've looked on the computers, you've listened to weather radio for an hour, 2 hours, and you finally go over that hill and look on the plains and there's a tornado on the ground. It's just crazy. It's just a feeling you can't describe.
Tornado on the ground.
I think I've already learned so much. Just identifying weather patterns in the sky outside of the weather lab.
It's my last 2 chases, so hopefully see a lot of stuff and just kind of end my years of Valparaiso on a high note.
I'll tell you what, these kids have been absolutely incredible. We're all exhausted, but we've had a wonderful time out here, learned a lot, seen a lot already, and they've got 5 more days to go before ending this. We've been under many tornado and severe thunderstorm warnings, and we'll continue to search them over the weekend. And now back to your weather. We're going to go back to the news center and Gary Sieber. Gary?
Thanks, Mike. And just
Professor Wolf and the Valparaiso students are just finishing up their discussions inside our motel right now, so we'll decide where to go at that point and follow them along today, because that once again there's a very good chance for severe and potentially damaging thunderstorms around this area, and we'll bring you more on that tonight at 6 o'clock. Back to the studio.
Okay, Mike, thank you very much for that. And again, Mike was coming to us live this morning from Abilene, Kansas, not the more popular Abilene, Texas, as I said, out of force of habit, but Abilene, Kansas, the boyhood home of Dwight Eisenhower, actually. And they saw some good stuff.
Yes, they did. That was incredible.
News Center 16.
Last week, News Center 16 Chief Meteorologist Mike Hoffman brought you a series of reports from the road.
That's right. Mike and his crew are out chasing storms with students and professors from Valparaiso University. Tonight, Mike is back in town with more incredible storm chasing tales. Mike?
Oh boy, Mark and Maureen, the entire trip was filled with drama, but our evening spent along the Kansas-Oklahoma border was the craziest of all.
The National Weather Service in Wichita has upgraded to a tornado warning for all of Harper County.
We spent the week chasing storms, but on this particular day, we felt the storms were in pursuit of us. It all started innocently on the Kansas prairie as we watched a storm from its very beginning.
Would estimate the position based on where we are being near Nashville, Kansas, which is just northeast of Medicine Lodge.
Within minutes, we were in position, watching a massive thunderstorm that was getting ready to spawn a tornado.
There's no way that Dow or anybody else could be in a better position than that.
And that's got to be a cell phone. That's awesome.
Oh, sweet. Look, the inflow on that is just unbelievable.
Then it got a little too close for comfort.
Hey, no, we don't have a choice. We got to get southwest of it now because we don't have a choice. I'll put the chase one over. Hey, what?
I'd better go.
Brad Bubber had to be to get out of here. We're going 80 miles an hour. Go!
And this could be it. We knew we were close to a tornado with all the hail falling, and in fact, a tornado was reported on the ground at this very moment. A true tornado forms in the southwest corner of a thunderstorm. The ground level winds are typically different than up above, so rotating begins in the rising air. It's in the middle of this circulation that a tornado forms, and that's where we were. No one was injured, but the devastation was evident everywhere you looked.
It's a scary deal. You don't realize how bad it really is until it's all over.
The tornado dipped out of the northwestern sky and devastated this trailer house. But to show you exactly how strong it was, it took a car parked by the trailer and threw it 300 yards into the field. The tornado even knocked over granite headstones in this cemetery and sent memorials flying in the fences down the road. The local paper the next day talked about the tornadoes that hit the area. It's actually the anniversary of one that hit back in the 1950s. However, there were so many tornadoes around us that evening that it took us 3 hours to work our way just 30 miles back to our hotel. You don't chase tornadoes at night. That's definitely very dangerous. Tomorrow night, we're going to tell you basically have the highlights of our entire trip during the storm chasing week that we had. And we'll bring that to you tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in Michigan. Mark and Maureen?
1,645 miles, going wherever Mother Nature took them. Mike made it home safely yesterday, and he joins us tonight with a look back at the chase. Mike?
And I'll tell you what, it was some sort of a trip. It took us 10 days to go that distance. We sent back 18 live shots in a 6-day period and followed them for 2 more days. So all I can say is what an exciting trip it was.
Tornado on the ground.
Tornadoes have always scared us and intrigued us. It wasn't until the film era that we really started learning exactly how a tornado worked, and we've been learning ever since. For some Valparaiso University students, this storm chase was a once-in-a-lifetime learning experience.
It's a real educational experience, and being out in the field is a lot better than in the classroom. You get a real hands-on experience.
You learn a lot about what to look for in the sky. I mean, you have all these cloud formations.
At 9 o'clock, a tornado was reported by a truck driver just north of Elwood.
We found ourselves under 7 tornado warnings. We first encountered tornadic thunderstorms in Nebraska. We witnessed many tornadoes along the gust front called gustnadoes. On our last day of chasing, we found ourselves surrounded by tornadoes along the Kansas-Oklahoma border. This massive thunderstorm produced cloud rotation right above our heads. As we fled the scene, we may have caught the beginnings of a tornado picking up dust just beyond the trees. Hail is one of the signs that a tornado may be nearby, and we ended up in the longest hailstorm I've ever seen. It kept us on the lookout for the worst.
Watch that flag. That flag is ours.
We went through hail 4 more times, and it seemed like every day we saw lightning, tremendous displays of lightning. The students were excited about seeing all the different types of weather, but they also understood the devastating effects on people.
That really concerns me that I'm chasing storms, but it kind of conflicts within me, like when it devastates people's lives.
Like the barn fire caused by lightning, or the cars dented by hail, or the homes ruined by a tornado. And I did want to say the Valparaiso University students were great representatives for the university. They helped the family get back on the road after hail damage to their truck. They stopped to make sure everyone was okay during a barn fire. They were absolutely perfect, and I want to thank Professor Wolf and all of the students for allowing us to go along. Now I have something to show you on Doppler 16 tonight. We showed you that gust front out west. We have one showing up. Watch this thin line form just ahead. Right there it is. 60-mile-per-hour winds spreading out ahead of these thunderstorms by about 40 miles before the thunderstorms get there. Those are heading our way, but they should weaken. We'll talk more about that coming up, but we will get thunderstorms overnight tonight.